Hello and welcome to another stream. A little Saturday night, kind of impromptu stream. Going to be talking about a new game tonight, Star Atlas. Talk about where it's at, why I'm in it, and also we'll be doing a ship giveaway. And along with that, I'll be giving away also everything you need to get started within Star Atlas. So your ship is up and ready to go for you. Before we get started, just want to say that this stream tonight is using assets in line with the permission of their Star Atlas creator guidelines. However, this is not affiliated with Star Atlas in any way. I'm a third party content creator. I'm not compensated um, directly from Star Atlas. However, during chat tonight, you may see an affiliate link pop up depending on what channel you are watching me on. And I know that I do get a kickback from that, and it is very clearly labeled as an affiliate link if you so choose to sign up. All right, so let's kind of dive into tonight's stream. What is Star Atlas? Star Atlas, I'm going to kind of use my own description here. It is a metaverse on the Solana blockchain that consists of lore. It consists of comic book. It consists of it's kind of like a big grand space opera. So it consists of three main factions. There's a huge story behind it. And then within that, though, within kind of the metaverse of this, you may think like, oh, metaverse, that's so blech. And it kind of is conceptually. But I like the way Star Atlas does it personally, because what it allows you to do is it allows you to take your assets from kind of one experience to another, and pretty seamlessly. And on top of that, everything you do is tied to the blockchain. We'll talk about that a little bit more when we get into the actual game itself. And I think those two things, along with the fact that they have open APIs for like everything, and very much encourage a creator economy, to this point where you can build off of Star Atlas's IP as long as you follow within their guidelines, and make up to $1 million before you have to pay them any money at all, which I think is crazy, and pretty cool. So we are going to dive into that. We're going to talk a little bit about the game, the platform, the news. I'm going to be focusing on certain areas tonight. Other areas we're not going to talk about. So this is just kind of be like a part one overview of it. If you like it and think it's cool, by all means go for it. If it's not for you, or you're too hesitant because you don't think they're far enough yet, or you don't like some of the things in the news around them, some of which we'll talk about tonight, by all means, and please stay away. But this is something that I'm in. I'll go through kind of what I have, how much money I put into it, what that looks like. And I'm really enjoying building within this game. That's probably my favorite part right now. I've learned some new languages that I'm not familiar with, and kind of on the back end, has allowed me to do some new cool things. So I've had a blast with it personally. I also really like the main game that I've been playing. That game we'll talk about a little later. I'll show you a little demo. But yeah, got a lot planned for tonight. And we'll talk about a little bit about what's to come. Now, if you want to get into this giveaway tonight, let me set this up right quick for you all. And this giveaway, I'm gonna do a keyword. I'm gonna have to add people too. So the keyword is going to be Star Atlas, one word. So if you go ahead, if you're in chat and are interested, go ahead and just type Star Atlas, one word. I will be giving away a free ship tonight, assuming we have any entries. So let's dive in. Let's start talking about the game itself. So I'm right now at the main page. I'm at this site with a wallet that's not currently associated with Star Atlas, so you can kind of get the full experience. We got BD Henders with an entry. Awesome. Thank you. Glad to see that went through. So there's a lot to take in here. If you're new, I recommend just kind of starting out by going to kind of the areas on the side here. The first thing I would do is go down to the bottom and connect your wallet. They have a support for a ton of different wallets, including Ledger. You see Ledger, Backpack, Phantom, Soulflare is on there, Coinbase Wallet, and Exodus as well. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna connect to my Phantom. I'm going to agree to these. And you can see now there's a wallet address, which is my wallet address, my Atlas balance, and my USDC balance, and my Solana balance. And again, this isn't my primary wallet, so that's why this is all showing up as empty right now. Got a question or a comment in chat from BD Henry says, I was in this game a while back, but it was taking a while. So interested to see where they're at now. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Very cool. Do you still have any ships? What does that look like? So if you're so after you've connected your wallet, you notice in the bottom left corner now this is going to go green. Click your little profile, and then you're prompted to choose a faction. Now, there are 3 factions in the game. There's Mud, which are the humans, Ustar, which I'm probably butchering, and they're kind of like a just this collective, like this unconscious. No one really knows where they came from, and then the Oni, which are the aliens. So I'm gonna click into these just so you can get an idea of kind of what each one of these factions is like. So if you look at, and I'll zoom in a bit, see if we can make this a little easier for you to read. So they've got a brief description. Manus Ultimus Divinium, Mud, the last divine hand, a spacefaring faction of humans originating from their home planet of Earth. After uniting under a common cause inspired by a benevolent Vitoli scout, humans harnessed Earth's resources and set off for the stars. Under the contemporary leadership of Sharon Gotti Jr., Mud Territory is established as the only legitimate human faction in the Council of Peace. Despite the dramatic losses in the Convergence War decades prior, Mud emerged as an industrial powerhouse in the region by securing diplomatic relations through fair trade with Oni and Ustar. Mud-controlled space provides proximity to raw materials that serve as core purpose in the component manufacturing process for distant astronautical travel and ballistics technology. Join Mud to ensure the perpetual fair and powerful leadership of humankind. Now, each one of these has a like description. I'm not going to read all the descriptions. But what's interesting to me here is, as someone who's just kind of like new and coming into this, is look at the total asset value, 13.1 million USDC. And then total players, 26,398. Now, I don't know how active that is or how up to date that is, but I do know that these numbers actually do change pretty frequently. You can also see their faction traits: Power Industrious, Local Resources, Tenon, Hycinium, and Diamond. If we click now into the Ustar, so these are cybernetic sentient beings with their origins surrounded in mystery. You see now they have 9.6 million in assets with 23,000 players. And cool. I guess why it's interesting why I read the first description of the Mud of the humans was because this is such a lore rich game, which is just so you can kind of get lost in that. We'll touch about that in a little bit. So basically there's a Dyson sphere powered supercomputer harnessing the energy of a Magnetar class neutron star. The energy throughout allowed the installed AI to advance beyond its physical location and withdrew from Planet Machine without a trace. Millennium later, the Ustar appeared in a physicalized form through advanced soft form robotics. However, none of them are able to recall their origin. So kind of interesting. And then we have the Oni. Harmonious consortium of diverse species, Ohm Sector, Seagull, blah, blah, blah. Wartime extinction. They kind of came together, benefited 9.6 million with 28,000 players. So I ended up choosing Mud. And if you choose a faction, that is locked to your wallet and you cannot change it. So if you choose one, you decide you want to do something else later, you will have to use a new wallet. So for my main wallet, I ended up choosing Mud. And I'll go ahead and I'll switch to my main wallet now, just so we can kind of get more out of the experience. So I'm just going to go ahead and refresh this page. So we'll talk about the marketplace a little bit. Inventory, Sage Labs. So next we're going to go to the DAO. And so I'm going to briefly touch on this. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. Star Atlas has 2 tokens associated with them. There's the Atlas, which is kind of like their in-game token. If you play PFL, that's their derby. And then Polis, and that's part of their DAO. Now, there are benefits for contributing to the DAO, things like reduced marketplace fees and voting on actual kind of decisions that shape the Star Atlas universe, which I think is really, really cool. I'm not involved with the DAO yet. I don't have any Polis. You can look at updates and announcements. Proposal section has been updated and include a proposed governance framework that empowers the community through Star Atlas DAO. Is your opportunity to influence the destiny of every aspect. How does the DAO work? Utilizing multi-signature wallets, on-chain proposal voting. Members decide the economic and political control of the entire Star Atlas universe. You see proposals and voting. So there's like a whole app and all of that. I'm not going to touch on that tonight just because I'm not involved with it yet. Funds have been a little tight lately, and I've put money into other projects at this time. So kind of getting out of that, the other thing I want to look at, if you think this is interesting, if you're someone that likes lore, I personally love lore. They have something on the side here called graphic novel Star Atlas Core. So it talks about the Convergence War and kind of the history of Star Atlas. And you can see, like, this is a full comic you can read through. There are multiple issues. We're just going to scroll through it. I'm not going to actually read it. Art's pretty good. Art's not bad. Writing was okay, in my opinion, but it was entertaining. I read through the first few issues. I plan on reading through more. I might just have to get it in a slightly different format, like throw it on my e-reader. But yeah, it's not bad at all. Interesting, kind of cool. So, like, again, this is totally free. So if you're interested, you want to learn more about Star Atlas, you love lore, I would recommend you check out the comic book for sure. So then let's talk about kind of the game itself. So there are 2 things you can do. So the first one being Faction Fleet. And basically what Faction Fleet is it's kind of like, it's basically ship staking. The whole concept, or kind of the story behind it, is that you take your ships, you stake them, you earn a certain reward per day depending on the type of ship that you have. And you are in charge, like, every few days with refueling, resupplying ammo, resupplying food for the crew on your ship. It's a way to make sure that, the staking keeps going. It's somewhat active. It's not totally passive, but it's pretty passive. So this was kind of, from my understanding of things and the timeline of it, is that this was kind of like V1 of, like, here's how you can interact with the Star Atlas ecosystem. There's not too much you can do. Now, my ships are currently tied up elsewhere. Otherwise, I would show you this and what this looks like. But it's simply just connect your wallet, which I can do. And then, yeah, you've got to purchase the ship. Then you enlist the ship with your faction. You'll see that this is the MUD logo. And then the fleet briefing kind of talks about it explains the whole process. So the council does not take your commitments lightly, rewarding your loyalty in Atlas. Universal currency recognized by Star Atlas. Fleet manager, you'll earn rewards for the accumulated time your contributions are productive. Supply your fleets with fuel, food, ammo, and toolkits to ensure productivity. And then you go on these missions. It's all very kind of simple and text-based. Now, I had this in here for probably less than a day, because then after that, I transitioned to Star Atlas Sage, which is kind of their next tier, like their next experience, in my opinion. And again, I will be giving away a ship tonight. If you're interested in that ship, type Star Atlas, one word, in chat. BD Hender says, I'm checking, but I think I sold. Might have to buy back in. Have they gone up or down in a year? I believe they've gone down. We'll talk about pricing in a little bit. I had chosen Oni. Nice. That was going to be the one I chose. But when I looked at that, total asset value and number of players, Mud just was so much better for me. That was what really guided my decision. I also like the character models for Mud. I like the character models for Oni too. 2300 Atlas, but no ships currently. Very cool. Very interesting. So, Star Atlas Sage, or Sage Labs, I guess. We're going to click this. So, this is their real time strategy game that is currently live. I've played this. This to me is like a great, hey, I'm going to watch a streamer. I'm going to watch YouTube videos. I'm watching a movie. I'm making dinner. Sage Labs is a great game for that because these things take time, 20, 30 minutes. But we're going to go in. I'm going to give you kind of a brief overview of what you can do in Sage Labs, and kind of what Sage Labs experience is like. So let's go ahead. Let's launch the game. You choose your wallet. This is a new browser window for me. It's not saved, so I've got to accept all of this fun stuff. Let me zoom back out. I accept all. All right. Choose my Phantom. Hit connect. So they have something now called Star Atlas Prime. I mentioned this earlier, but almost all interactions with Star Atlas are done on chain. So if I buy a ship, it's not a collection. It's not tied to a collection of every single ship within Star Atlas. No, it's just tied to my specific ship. And if I buy ammunition, well, that's not a big collection. No, that's a singular collection of ammunition. And that goes into my wallet. So I can take the ammunition that's in my wallet, and I can just transfer that to someone else. I think that's pretty cool. I'm kind of a fan of that in that experience. So what they offer here is something called Atlas Prime. So because everything's on chain, there are small amounts of SOL that come out. I'll tell you what those numbers are as I go through and in kind of my little demo here. Certain actions have slightly different price points to them. They're all very small. So Atlas Prime is basically their way of saying, hey, if you don't want to use SOL to pay for these little transaction fees, you can use your Atlas currency. However, what I've learned in the Discord is that there's actually a 15% increase on those fees. Now, while they are small, the increase is the increase. So if you have the SOL, you might as well use that. But let's go ahead. I'm going to enable Atlas Prime for now. You can see I'm back. I selected my faction for this. I selected Mud as well. Welcome back, MJ. Launch Labs. And you are kind of shown this screen here. So some interesting ship formations down there. So what we're looking at here are different fleets that are traveling throughout the galaxy. So if we zoom out, this is, just crazy wild to think about. If you look here, so this is the Oni is up here. The Ooster is up to the right. And then we've got this middle area. And then anything that is white is a place that I can technically go. I didn't even realize this zone was out here. When you log in, you need a ship to play this. So, you're going to, I've got a little fleet off to the side here, but you're going to start at your current faction's CSS. And again, you can click lore, you can learn about Mud, you can learn about everything that's going on. Tons of stuff to read to dive into in here. And then you can see, here is my fleet in this sector. I created a mining fleet. So our goal is to go out and get resources. Now, it consists of 2 ships, a Fimble Bios Erp, and an Opal Jet. Between both of those, I ended up spending about 150. I've spent about 139 and change for the Bios Erp and about under 10 for the Opal Jet. Just to increase size and give me a little more flexibility. So kind of what you do and the purpose of this game, and they're going to be launching, I believe they have it in like a pre-alpha right now, but a 3D version of this instead of this kind of 2D is so you can go to your hangar. So I'm going to click Starbase Hangar, and you can see my mining fleet is here. My fuel is at 37%. My ammo's at 79. My cargo is at 8. Cargo low. I want that because I'm going to go out and try and go mining for things. Now you need fuel, ammo, and food. I see my ammo's okay. My food is low. That's intentional because food takes up space in cargo. And I have some toolkits, but we're not going to use those right now. So the gist of it, kind of how I play, is I've got my fleet here. They are docked. We can go over like fleet creation at a later time, but I click the little fleet icon to the right, and it pulls up my fleet status: 2 ships, 3 crew, total cargo size, max warp distance. And I'm going to undock. Now, when I undock, that triggers a reaction on the chain. So the estimated chain charge for this is 0.19798 Atlas. We're going to confirm that. Hey, Mo. Yeah, Mo, if you want to be entered in the giveaway, type Star Atlas one word in chat, please. Mo over on Kick. Catching up on shows with the girlfriend, lurking, going to rewatch later to learn what is going on here. Yeah, absolutely. So I just undocked, and we're gonna hit settings here just so you can see. So it's 21,000 Atlas to 1 soul, just to give you an idea of that. So now that I'm undocked, so now I am free to travel. Now there are 2 ways of traveling. So I can warp or I can subwarp, and I'm really zoomed in, so it's kind of cluttered. But warping allows you to go from one place to another faster. Subwarping, you go slower. So because I'm undocked, and just for the sake of time, like if I were to, let's say, subwarp to, and I'm going to click Mud 2. So that's going to take about 7% of my fuel and will take 11 minutes and 39 seconds. However, if I were to warp there, let's see. So I click that. I click warp. So that's actually out of my warp zone. But if I were to go closer, that's going to take up 22% of my fuel and will only take 45 seconds. So it is significantly faster. But it's going to take up so much more fuel. So I'm just going to chill here around this space station. And what I'm going to do is there's an option here. So we've got dock, warp, subwarp, start mining, scanning, which we're not going to do, and then self-destruct. Don't want to do that. So I'm going to go ahead and start mining. And then a little pop-up comes up, and it says, hey, you can start mining. And so right now at this base, there is hydrogen, or I guess in the space around the base. So I'm going to go ahead and hit initiate mining. And that's going to cost me 0.19798 Atlas. I'm going to confirm. And this is essentially just resource gathering. So my rate right now for mining is 3.324. My cargo capacity, I just have about 3,700 cargo left. You see that up here. And you can see the fleet is now currently mining. So now I am mining hydrogen. So what is the point of this? Why do I want to do this? Well, I can click out of this now, and I can leave. I can come back. There's an estimated time on there. If I like totally forget this happens, I'm not going to be SOL. Like I won't run out of fuel. I might go down a little bit, but it's nothing too crazy. I think I was left mining for 72 hours once, and like my ships were fine. But you want to try and time it, if you want to get the most out of it. So then, if we go to, I don't think I'll be able to do it. But so when you mine, you then get resources, and all these different kind of nodes provide different things. So if I click on Mud 2, I click on Starbase metadata, I can see that there's iron ore here. And if I go to MRZ2, I click on metadata, I can see there's luminite. We'll go down to Mud 4, and there's biomass. So in here, I'm getting hydrogen. So if I click on now Starbase Crafting Workshop, so assuming I'm, done crafting or done gathering those resources, I fly back, I dock my ship. I need 1 ship that is not a part of a fleet to be at the base in order to craft. And with crafting, so I'm going to go down to, I think it's fuel. I can take that hydrogen then that I mine, and for every 3 hydrogen, I get 1 fuel. So basically, what I'm doing is I can go around biomass, which was down below, produces fuel. So every 2 biomass, produces 1 food. And so I can now get these natural resources, and then I can also convert them. So, like, there are a few strategies going on here. One being that you can um, go out, have a fleet, whether it be 1 ship, 5 ships, whatever, and you go out, you gather your certain resources. So gather your hydrogen for fuel, gather your biomass for fuel, and they're just going back and forth, hauling to your different stations, gathering the materials, bringing them back. So then you have a ship at a sector, or a star base, but they are not a part of a fleet. Then they are then converting those raw materials into ammunition, food, fuel, whatever. Now, you can scale this up in theory so that you're gathering materials to actually build ships in this game, which is crazy. So I kind of view it as, all right, I want to get myself, I'm still very early on. I'm obviously very small. But I want to be able to get to a spot, which I think I am right now, where I can gather resources, kind of be self-sustaining, and then with that self-sustaining, then take profits on a few extra. I was at 0 Atlas earlier, close to 0 Atlas. I'm now up to 50. I got about 5 for a few runs, and really start to kind of slowly grow. So I want to circle on back to chat before we go back to this next part. Again, and Mo, if you're there, you can hear me. Type star Atlas if you would like to be entered. And anyone else on Twitch, type star Atlas. We see Prospect in the house. He got it in. Yeah, it kind of does look like the zone control map from StarCraft. What a Prospect. Been asking MJ 100 questions about Star Atlas for a few days now. Happy to see him work his magic in real time. Best ship for low price to mine. What do you might have missed? Then you could run your fleet with the miners. Yeah, so exactly. So going back to kind of fleet construction, there's a really good YouTube video out there that I saw. Basically, it broke down into 3 different types. So you have a few ships that are at star bases that are just converting resources and crafting. And now if I go out to, let's say, Mud 2 up top here, and I gather resources, but I have my kind of crafters down here at the Mud CSS, they can't access these resources. These resources have to get back to the crafters. So I could have kind of a crafting hub at Mud CSS, or I send out more crafters up here. Create a fleet, fly them out, disband the fleet. They're there. So I'm kind of right now, which probably isn't the most optimal way, but I'm building everything out of the Mud CSS. I'm going to have a mining fleet go out. I'll have crafters at the CSS, which I'll need to get another ship for because I incorporated my original crafting ship into my mining fleet to just kind of improve capacity. And then the other one was kind of like a scanning. So you can use the toolkits to look for data units. I haven't had any luck with that. I need to learn more about that before I do it. And then you could even have a 4th to kind of just run materials out. So if I've got my mining fleet going out in, Mud 2, all the way up to, MRZ 4, because I really want to get their copper ore and hydrogen. So the further out you get 2 resources. I could have just kind of like transports going. So there are a lot of different ways you can kind of mix and match your strategy here to try and optimize what you're getting. Now, I will say there is a cap on these fleets. So if we go to my fleet, I believe the fleet cap is something like 149. And my Opal Jet is just like 1 in that scale, and my BIOS ERP is 9. So that prevents people from just having like just absolutely ginormous fleets. I mean, yes, you can still have really big fleets, don't get me wrong, but it keeps things a little bit more manageable. You can also turn this off too. If this is too noisy, you see the little blue turquoise dot, that's where you're at. So we're still mining. Let's go to fleet. If I hit stop mining down here, oh, looks like we got a little, give this 1 sec to refresh. Sometimes there are little bugs. This is in beta. I'll just relaunch it because this will probably be faster. But the good news is, because this is all done on chain, I could close this out. I could walk away, sign out. I'm going to be doing the same thing. My progress is going to continue. So if I go to my fleet, and I think it's because I'm too zoomed in. I think that's what's happening. It's like freaking out on me. So we'll zoom out and we'll try it again. Just reconnect. But again, nothing's lost. So it's not like it's like ruining my experience in any way. Let's get rid of that. Go to overview, sector survey, crafting process. Click on mud CSS. Now I just got to find my fleet. I think the zoom in and out has really bugged me. But you can go ahead. You can check your status and things on here. So here we go. Now we're loaded in. Let's try this one last time. Let's see if this pops up. If we get a white screen here, we'll go to the next phase of the stream. Yeah, I don't know why it's whiting on me, but so we're actually going to go back to play.staratlas.com. So you're mining these resources, and if you go back to the Play Star Atlas, you go to the marketplace. You can buy and sell all of these different items like live in real time. People are selling these. So you could, let's say, like, okay, well, here's, 252 bullets for 0.000228999 per bullet. But then there's, 1.4 million at 0.200239. So you can go through all these different things, buy and sell. So if I'm gathering resources, I can sell those raw resources. If you look for, we can go look for hydrogen. I can also go and sell the fuel. So as I'm gathering things, then I have a place to sell it and sell it for Atlas. And, these earnings are small. Like I said, it was something like 2,300 Atlas to, 1 soul. But it's a kind of real-time strategy resource gathering game. How could these resources be used in the future? Well, again, this is a speculation part right in here, but things like dogfighting, things like actual exploration. We know you use the bullets right now. And I think this will be a good time to kind of tease what the future of Star Atlases look like. This video came out 2 weeks ago. And so we're going to watch it right here quickly. Just so you can kind of get an idea of, I talked about interoperability. So we talked about, the staking, taking that out. Now you can do the 2D RTS. They will have Golden Era, which I got to figure out how to get access to, but that's their 3D version of Sage. And then this was their latest release video. No one intervened on behalf of... A lot of stuff is teased here. So what you're looking at here is actually one of the ships in Star Atlas. Obviously, this is a cinematic, but it's going to change shortly. So think of this as kind of like a Mario Kart experience. They've got an arena shooter coming. Again, the models are based off of your faction. Third-party shooter. So you got racing with shooting. Notice the different styles of the models tied to each faction. So I believe they're using Unreal Engine 5 for all of this. This is what I talk about when I was mentioning Metaverse earlier. Popping out your mud player becomes the player in the shooter. You've got your ship in the hangar, which is also the ship you're using in Sage. I believe that is working. I don't have it yet. I'll be talking about that and kind of some of the 3D stuff in a future stream, BD Henders. Really just want to focus on Sage, and then I'll be talking about something else here in a minute. As it's playable now, they have it's actually on the Epic Game Store. You can wish list it on the Epic Store, which I think is pretty cool. So we had some questions. So that's kind of where things are going. Now, I like to be transparent when I talk about things, and this is what I know. I'm sure there's a lot that I don't know. I know there's a lot that I don't know. A few months ago, Star Atlas got some very bad news, and I want to share this with you. I'll share the links in chat. But essentially, they lost a lot of their money in FTX, and as a result, had to lay off a large portion of their staff. Cut about 122 jobs. The company lost about $15 million from the collapse of FTX, significant portion of liquid cash balance. San Francisco gaming firm ATMTA said it will implement significant headcount reduction as it seeks to keep operations afloat. Memo sent staff shared Discord from co-founder CEO Michael Wagner. Said cuts were needed to preserve its long-term ability to continue developing Star Atlas. ATMTA, I'm probably butchering that, describes Star Atlas, built on the Solana blockchain, as a space-themed video game metaverse, as we've seen, I've talked about tonight. The remaining core team will be about 45 workers. Staff levels were about 167 after the post-FTX reductions, and reached a peak of 235 in late 2022. The call represents cutting of 122 jobs, or about 73% of the workforce. The company lost about $15 million from the treasury. Company says it will pause liquidation strategy temporarily. Preserve operational runway for another year and beyond, based on very conservative cash flow assumptions. So we are prioritizing Sage in the mobile app because they have shown significant growth potential and early traction. Sage is what we've been playing. So this article is from July 2023. Then in February, that doesn't sound right. Maybe it was written then, but that's not when that happened. Because in February, they had recovered a portion of their lost tokens on FTX. Back in November, FTX insolvency shook the world. Amongst the affected were the upcoming blockchain, Star Atlas, blah, blah, blah. At the time, Michael Wagner announced they'd lost 10 to 15 million. At the time, this cut the company's development efforts in half, with an estimated 6 to 9 months of development runway left. Star Atlas community rallies to support. In the immediate wake of this announcement, the Star Atlas community conducted a survey in which gained items they'd like to see released by the company in the short term, dubbed the Community Rescue Survey. The results led towards the official Star Atlas sequence campaign that lasted from November 22nd through the end of January 2023. The results, nearly $2 million of direct revenue provided to Automatic. That's crazy. The community raised $2 million, which is absolutely wild. To to think about. And yeah, that is a lot of developers left BD Henders. Absolutely. And here's a link to this article I'm reading right now. Star Atlas recovers FTX funds. At the conclusion of the Start Sequence campaign, Automata hosted a community town hall on February 2nd where Wagner was the keynote speaker. During the hour-long town hall, Automata provided an update on the status of the company and outlook at development timelines. Surprisingly, Wagner revealed that the company had recovered a portion of their lost funds on FTX through a brokered deal. Wagner did not reveal any more details regarding the deal, nor specific amount that was recovered. This is likely a condition of the structured deal itself. Wagner continued on by stating that the company had a conservative development funding estimate through September 2023. Before then, Wagner said Automata intended to release several key products, including the in-browser game Sage, with a pre-alpha or test version to launch with a target date of first quarter 2023. And we're playing Sage now. So, again, transparency, big things that happened that I'm aware of that I wanted to share with my community. So we got some questions in chat about the kind of like ships. What's a good buy? What does that look like? Well, I got news for you. I created 2 tools for Star Atlas. The first one is the Ship Shop. And so sending the link in chat, but the Ship Shop is basically a tool for you to compare ships based on pricing, size, class, ammo, cargo capacity, mining rates. Any way you want to slice and dice the data, you're going to see the ships with their cheapest price listed. Updates about actually, I think it's like 25 minutes now. It's less than 30. But 30 is on there as a conservative estimate. I had to make some server changes. So one thing that I like to do, and talking about the giveaway tonight. So the ship I give away will be under $20 US. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, currently 5 options available. You've got a Fimble Airbike, an Opal Jet, a Pierce X4, a Vizu Solos, and a Fimble Ecos Unabomba. You can then kind of see their quantity, the price. Actually, I'll kind of zoom in here so we can get a better view for the stream. Currency, class size, rarity, spec, components, crew, modules, subwarp speed, warp speed. We talked about subwarp and warp earlier. I'm going to click the little green plus here. Then you can also see the crew modules, cooldown, cargo capacity 249, fuel capacity 450, ammo capacity 104, upgrade rate, crew for crafting 1, respawn time 60, scan cooldown 56, and then height, width, and length. So when I was looking at ships to buy for myself, again, not financial advice, zoom back out here so I can just kind of talk you through my process a bit. We look at kind of pricing. It's kind of banded out in, a few different layers. So you've got the kind of the low tier here, which is, again, the winner will get to choose which one they would like out of these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which, kind of like the sub $20 range. Then you've got kind of the 30 to 50. You've got another 4 ships in here. And then you start to get into kind of the higher priced, 100 to like 130 to like 150. Then you get to 200. Then you're 250 to 3, and then you're in the $500-$600 range plus. And it will change pretty regularly because you can see there's only like 1 ship, 2 ships listed at these prices. So when I was looking at ships to buy for myself, I really liked the Fimble BIOS ERP for a few reasons. So one, it was hey, Taco, how you doing? Doing a ship giveaway a little later, talking about Star Atlas. So if you'd like to enter, type Star Atlas one word, and you will be entered into the giveaway at the end of the stream. So I looked at the BIOS ERP, and awesome, you are in Taco. And I wanted something that was a fighter, just because I'm thinking like long term, if there are things like dogfights, if this game does develop, that's a big if. We don't know what's going to happen. Again, like I say with any game, it could go to zero, whether that be market conditions, gaming conditions. Otherwise, I don't know. This is for me, not financial advice. So I looked at, compared to, let's say, these other ships that are kind of in this price range right now. And again, the market may have been different back then. But right now, like this Tooth of Feist seems to have a better warp speed, subwarp speed, excuse me, slightly better warp distance. Um, Consumption rate, though, it takes up a lot more fuel. Warp fuel consumption rate takes up less, though. So I do a lot of subwarping. I don't care too much about warping personally. So like for me, the BIOS a little more appealing there. Um, Planet exit fuel very similar. Cargo capacities are the same. Fuel capacities are the same. Ammo capacities are the same. So like when I'm looking at this, I'm kind of thinking um that the um what was I going to say? Oh, the subwarp. Subwarp speed, sorry, the speed was a little slower, but the it used up a lot less fuel and when they have the same fuel capacity. Um so I thought that was kind of interesting. If we click down into this, two crew for crafting, respawn time 121, scan cooldown 44. If we look at the Tooth of Feist, two crew for crafting 121, scan cooldown 53. So a little less on the scan cooldown. But right now, I mean, for the price, if I were to compare, I may consider the Tooth of Feist instead. It is an epic. It is also a fighter. And I mean, for that price, it's not that bad. I mean, the subwarp a little worse off, but they are the exact same price, which is super super interesting. Now, if I look at the BIOS ERP versus the Ogrica Nurich, what I see here is if I look at cargo capacity, the BIOS ERP same price practically, off by a penny, but much higher fuel capacity and much higher ammo capacity. So that's kind of like how I'm looking at some of these comparisons. So market seems to have changed a little bit. Tooth of Feist, if I were to rebuy personally myself now, I may consider that. But then if you click any of these links, it's going to take you directly to the Star Atlas marketplace, and you can buy. It's currently defaulting to Atlas. You just switch that to USDC, boom, and you can buy. So on top of that, on top of the ship shop, I also have a resource depot. And this resource depot allows you to look at, I like sorting by price. There you go, price in Atlas. And allows you to look at kind of what the going rates are and the quantities that are available for these materials. Now, if I look at copper wire, there are only 2 available at this 0021500. So let's click this. All right, I mean, so it goes up a little bit, but when you start thinking about this in terms of like volumes, you could potentially identify opportunities. Obviously, market prices can fluctuate. Here's aluminite for 23641. So I mean, you can get 9,641 for this price. They're all listed here. But then that jumps up to 24199 immediately after that. So I feel like there's kind of a gap here. Again, do you want to try and arbitrage, get into the markets a little bit in that way? And you can see Luminite's listed multiple times because it's all the same price. So you can get that visibility into multiple listings at a similar price. Now, the other way to think about this, outside of just kind of those opportunities, is looking at, those construction rates. So we knew, what was it, for hydrogen, let's say it was 3-to-1 to fuel. So if it's 0.0043 for one hydrogen, and if we go to fuel, which is 0.0043, so we multiply that times 3, that's 0.0012, that's 1.5. So right now, hydrogen is currently, if that is 3-to-1, in fact, we'd have to double check that. We'll go back. Let's go back to Sage. But that's greater than that 3-to-1. So if that is 3-to-1, then hey, it makes sense for me to mine hydrogen right now because that seems to be a profitable endeavor. I can convert that, I can sell that, I can do whatever I want with that. Again, it's kind of however I want to play that strategy. So we go to the crafting, we go to fuel. Yeah, it is 3 to 1. So that 3 to 1 on hydrogen, um, I might load up on this, move it over to my wallet, and then I will say this: when you are in Sage, you've got to go to. If I go to my inventory, you're going to have stored in wallet and then available in Starbase. Anything you buy in the marketplace will be stored in your wallet. You have to migrate that to the Starbase. But you can see here's my ammo, food, and fuel. So it kind of becomes at least again in this current moment, not financial advice, but a self-sufficient way of gathering and using resources. My strategy for buying my second ship was I wanted something that was cheap. We might be timing this badly. Might be going through a refresh. Oh no, we're back. So I wanted something that was cheap, and that I thought could perform well. So at the time, I think the Jet was cheaper than the Air Bike. But if you look at both of these, comparing the Thimble Air Bike and the Opal Jet, you've got so the Air Bike is slightly cheaper. Both same class rarity, same spec. They're racers. So again, think about like that racing. I wanted that racing game looked appealing. I'm horrible at racing games, but I wanted something kind of cool. I thought the Opal Jet looked cool. Crew size is the same, modules are the same, warp speed a little slower, but can warp farther, and consumes less fuel on subwarp. Less fuel on warp, but it has the same fuel capacity and cargo size and ammo capacity. So it seems like it's a more efficient ship, in my opinion, just looking at this data right here. So that's why I went for the Opal Jet. So that's kind of how I approach kind of buying it. Taco Tuesday says over on Kick, never played a game, any games like this besides farming and fighting. What else can you do? So they have the ship hangar. They will have that 3D arena based shooter. I don't know if you saw that video, Taco. If not, I'm going to drop the link in chat, and I highly recommend you watch that. It's a quick little 2-minute video. And they're also going to have races. So they're going to have kind of time trial races, and then they're also going to have like actual fighting races. It's outlined in there. And it's currently on the Epic Game Store. You can't download it unless you have a code. I'm working on getting a code. My next Star Atlas stream is going to be focused on more of those 3D experiences, what you can do, what you can't do, what's coming, what's not coming. But I wanted to just kind of start with here's how you can access some of the lore. Here are the 3 factions. You can stake if you want to be a little more passive. You'll have to check it every few days, replacing your fuel, food, and ammo. Or you can be a little bit more active. And I think, again, if you're watching a stream, watching a YouTube video, cooking, get over into Sage Labs. And let's see, engaged in mining operation. Can we pull this up? Isn't going to white screen me. There we go. So I've maxed out now. My capacity, 3741, 30 minutes. Harvest resources and stop mining. Confirm. And again, that was less than 1 Atlas to do that. Give it a minute. Everything is done on chain. See, my ammo or my cargo capacity is now full. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to dock. That's going to cost me 0.19387 Atlas. And I am now docked. And now I go to my Starbase hangar. I see I can look at my fleet. And what I want to do is I want to take my hydrogen. I just check that little box. It's going to select it all. And I transfer that cargo to the Starbase, where if I had a available worker waiting for me, not in a fleet, so basically just a ship that's not in a fleet, they could start to craft this. Alternatively, I could move this hydrogen to my wallet and sell that 3790 hydrogen. So there we go. Just got the notification. It has been withdrawn. You can see my capacity is down. I'm just going to chill at the Starbase for now, but then I could undock, remine, start over again. So if we were to look at what did I just get? Go to my inventory, 3791 hydrogen. We go to the depot, resource depot, and go to hydrogen. Current hydrogen price is 0.0043000 Atlas. And there is a little fee, a small fee for crafting. Um, so if I were to convert all of this hydrogen, if I were to sell it just as is, I would get 1.63013 Atlas. So that is the equivalent of, according to Kraken right now, on today, January 6th at 7:53 p.m. Central, um, that's a penny. So in half hour of basically a few clicks, I just got a penny. Now, obviously, there are other resources that are more valuable. We saw Luminite on the list. So, and again, it's not a one-to-one capacity, but that's 002. That jumped up to, what was it? 00424? Yeah, 0024. So essentially, after all of this, it jumps up to there. So currently at 0023 versus 0004. So, much higher Luminite. Converting that, you can make more off of that. And again, that factors into kind of the strategy, the planning behind all of this is like, okay, how do I structure my fleets? Yes, it takes time. It's just a few clicks, not necessarily a huge grind. And yeah. Question in chat from BD Henders. Yes, any ship can craft as long as it's not a part of a fleet. I've used my Opal Jet to craft. They will have a crafting kind of crew that can help determine rates and things like that. But yes, any ship can craft. Crafting rate per ship or something. Let's see. I might have that in here. We're just gonna click this. We'll go down. There's a mining rate. Crew crafting, respawn time. No. Let's see if we can go here just to see if we can see what this would look like. So you can see there's a crafting fee. So if I go, just hypothetically, it won't let me do it. But where's hydrogen? Oh, because you don't craft hydrogen, you craft fuel. So if I do 3791, which is my max, or sorry, 12, yeah, which would be, I'd get 12,000 fuel. So at 12,000 fuel, let's just kind of run this. I'm curious. Start resource depot. 1263 fuel. If we go to fuel and we go 1263 times this price, current floor. So that gets me 2 Atlas. Which doesn't get me much more. So instead of 1.63, I'll get 2.01 Atlas. And then, yeah, exactly. And that's what's appealing to me is because I love building. And it's very open. So like the recipes, like you get access to those. It is a lot of opportunity. It's small, as you can see. We're talking about pennies. I'm also a very small fleet, very small, setup. But yeah, right, exactly. Improvement. So it's a lot of ways to like understand the edges. Okay, so do I fly out to use the extra fuel for the Luminite? Do I have a fleet that just optimizes and gets the kind of the main resources like the biomass for food, the hydrogen for fuel, the copper for ammunition? So like they're kind of a fleet restock, but then I set another fleet out to get the more valuable resources. There's a lot of different ways you can play it, and I think if you like that kind of thing, it could be pretty entertaining. Again, I like to play it if I'm watching streamers, if I'm hanging out. It's takes 10, 20, 30, 40 minutes to travel, to gather resources. So it's something you can just kind of set, walk away for a bit, come back. Oh, cool. Okay, boom, gather it, bring it back, and do it kind of on your own terms. Now, my uh my ship, the Bios Erp staked would be about 25 Atlas a day. So in theory, you could make more through Sage in just a few hours. So this was the equivalent of 1.6, we'll say, just in the raw materials in a half hour. In 24, about 20, but yeah, it's about one an hour. And we're making about 1.6 in an hour playing Sage. And that's for the most basic, the cheapest material out there. Again, market can change, not financial advice. A lot of different things could happen. But that's kind of where uh, my experience with the game has been. So, what do you say we get to this giveaway? Again, chat, if you're here, type Star Atlas one word in chat. We'll be doing a wheel of names, and the winner will get a chance to pick their ship again, like sub 20. But definitely check it out. And again, you can get in for cheap. You don't have to spend a ton of money. Not financial advice to get in. But yeah, it's not too bad. We got Lost Packets in here. Welcome, Lost Packets. And then if you do want to sign up for Star Atlas, I do have, again, full disclosure, this will be an affiliate link. Let me pull this up quick. If you have not signed in yet, or signed up yet and would like to, if we go, let me just change this up. My affiliate link I will throw in chat on all platforms. Again, I will be getting a kickback from this very specific link that I am sharing. That's the disclaimer, not affiliated with Star Atlas. But I do have an affiliate link, which you just get. It's tied to any account that comes in. I'll give people a few more seconds here to try and get their... Perfect. There it is over on Kick, and I'll send this over on Twitch as well. There we go. Lost Packet says, I don't know anything about it, but I would try it. I like Star Citizen if it's similar. It's not quite there yet. They don't have the full 3D experience yet, Lost Packets. Really just a staking and then a kind of real-time strategy game right now. There will be 3D. I'm working on getting access to that stuff, and we'll be sharing that once I do. Again, this could go... They lost a bunch of money with FTX. They got some of it back. They raised some more money. I don't know where this game is going, but I love space. I love space exploration. I love the concept of what they're doing, and I love building on it. So that's why I personally got into this game. You know, if it excites you or looks interesting to you, by all means, go for it. But, you know, not financial advice, and do it for you. Don't do it because I'm telling you to do it. So for the giveaway, we got BD Henders, Lost Packets, Prospect Total, and we have, just going to double check, Kick. We got Turned Taco Tuesday entered as well. Mo, if you're still here, last chance to pop in. But right now, it's sitting on 25% chance. We're going to go ahead. We are going to spin this wheel. Winner will get to pick what ship they want. And I will load you up with food, fuel, and ammo too. Just so you can, depending on what you want to do, you can have that full experience. So I've got everyone in here. I've got Turnt Taco Tuesday from Kick. I've got BD Henders from Twitch, Prospect from Twitch, and Lost Packets from Twitch as well. We'll go ahead and spin the wheel. Good luck, everyone. Congratulations, BD Henders. You might be getting back into Star Atlas. So I need you to do a few things. So one, um, congratulations, very happy. Two, send me your wallet address. You can send it to me, Discord, Twitter. Send it here if you prefer, but if you don't want to send it more privately, by all means, go for it. And then go ahead, take a look at the different ships. Go to the ship shop. Anything under 20. Um, take a look and decide what you would like. Let me know. I will get that to you and I will stock it up for you as well. Congratulations, BD Henders. Um, Thank you everyone for tuning in. This kind of wraps up part one of my Star Atlas streams. I'll talk to you all soon. Everyone have a great and safe weekend, and I will see you hopefully next week.